All right, well, we're leaving Arches National Park in the morning. We stayed 2 nights here at Devil's Garden. And I thought I would just give a quick summary of what we experienced and what we thought. I'm also going to try and compare it to the other parks we've been to in Utah, Canyonlands, Zion, and Bryce. We've not been to Capitol Reef. So I would say Bryce is very small and you can't really see anything interesting from the car. And Canyonlands is humongous and you can see amazing things from the car. And Arches is kind of in between. Arches, I don't have the square footage in front of me, but Arches certainly feels way bigger than Bryce and feels smaller than Canyonlands. And there are spectacular views from the car. If you never got out of the car, you would still be seeing amazing things. There obviously are really cool things to see if you're up for a hike. I will say we really enjoyed the windows area. Turret Arch, Double, North, and South Window are all very cool. There's lots of cool places to climb if your kids are into climbing and scrambling. Most of it feels pretty safe, and these distances are tiny. I mean, you can get from the car to Turret Arch in less than 5 minutes. We did the hike from Wolf Ranch to Delicate Arch. It was a pretty tough hike for families. We have a 6, 8, and 10-year-old. We left at 8:30 in the morning. The sun was pretty difficult and very exposed. And what I would say is basically the first quarter is exposed but flat. The second quarter is exposed and steep. The third quarter is mixed terrain, but good amounts of shade. And then the fourth is pretty flat and rocky. So if you get past the second section, basically if you make it halfway past the steep rock section, then go up there. I will say you have to remember that this place is nearby. Moab is a big city, and that makes Arches, I think, the most touristy of all the parks in Utah. When you go to a place like Sequoia Kings Canyon, there are people there basically who love trees and love nature. And there aren't a lot of people who are just going to go. When you come to Arches, you run into a lot of people who are in Moab, who are partying or off-roading or adrenaline junkies, and they want to just come in here because it's close and it's cheap and, you know, whatever. So Arches, to me, feels like a very touristy park. The demographic of people is very different from, like, let's say, a nature's lovers sort of park. And I think Moab really influences that. Delicate Arch is no exception because it is the most famous feature in the park. It feels very touristy. Everyone's lined up to get their photos. People are getting all sorts of Instagram shots, beauty shots, and it feels very like Disneyland to me. I wasn't a big fan, but I also understand how it got to be that way. So I would say if you're a dedicated like nature lover, go to Bryce or go to Canyonlands. But that's not to say Arches is not beautiful from the car and from foot. If you're a family, I would go to the windows section. And if you're an adventurous family up for a challenge, I would do Delicate Arch. I would do it early in the morning, as early as you can get your family up and out, or in the evening. The evenings are beautiful, but so long as the sun is out, it is deadly. So I hope that helps somebody out there. Maybe one last comment. We stayed in Devil's Garden, as I mentioned. Really nice campground, huge sites. I mean, basically, these sites are, that sign is probably 100 feet away from the road, and we have like a radius this whole way for our kids to play with. So yeah, I hope that helps, and I hope you enjoy visiting Arches National Park.